Alrighty, hey yo, what is up, Knights? Rick here with some more DFO PvE on my female grappler, guys. Now, I've never shown off my female grappler, and there's a reason for this, okay? Let me just start off the video by saying I don't like grabbing classes in general. I do have a male grappler, so I have both the grappler classes. I don't like them, but they are physical type and they get in people's faces, so I gotta make them, right? I gotta make all the fighter classes. It's kind of my fault for setting myself up like that, but I do not like the female grappler. I actually owned a female grappler way back when. She was level 50. And even back then, you know, I had a dilemma where I didn't actually purchase all the character expansions like I have now. And so I was just deleting characters that I didn't like, and I knew I didn't want to play. And so the female grappler was a class that I actually ended up deleting. And there you go, good spiral right there. And so already I'm going to be biased in my opinion about this class, right? It's like, okay, he doesn't like the class, so what good does he have to say about it? Well, not much, okay? There are reasons why I don't like this class, aside from the fact that, you know, generally I don't play grappler classes. And really, I'm going to be using the male grappler as a comparison. Right now, I'm getting a lot of help from these launchers here, but hopefully I'll be able to show off the main reason. I've been trying to think of how to articulate this kind of sentiment in the video without feeling like, oh, I'm just wrong. But especially when I compare him to the male grappler, I feel as though the female grappler is extremely stiff. And not only is she stiff, she also doesn't have a lot of good setups. I feel like, you know, I played male grappler even before he got all the kinds of goodies that he got from the Reborn patch, and let me tell you, he was made awesome after Reborn patch. He got a new skill, he got different setups, he got different animations. Overall, it was a great addition for the male grappler that the female grappler just did not see. And the main thing being, she just doesn't have a lot of variation in her skills. Fling, both characters have that. Here's her basic grab, which is suplex. And I feel like suplex is the most basic grab in the game that has no variation. When you compare that to the knee grab that the male grappler has, he can hold up and he can shoot him into the air, combo into the air Steiner, which right now there are not any good or great combos into air Steiner. But that would be like a very, very low cooldown setup that male grappler has that this one doesn't. And I feel like, you know, female grappler and male grappler don't have to be the same, but there should be like some give and take. And I feel like male grappler just has everything right now. The other main thing, you know, okay, so the suplex sucks. I feel like her AoE grabs, or grabs that are designed around, or supposed to be AoEs, generally don't have very good range or good controllability. I can think of very many grabs on the male grappler that have huge range, that have big shockwaves, controllable shockwaves, like for instance, I can think of the kick where you kick them in the air and then kick them back down. That's a grab, grabs everybody in range, and then everybody that gets grabbed, you can either throw them forward a little bit, you can throw them down, directly down, you can land on top of them. You just have control over the skills. I mean, the grabs are just too stale here on the female grappler. The only one that I feel like you even have any control over, aside from the initial grab itself, is the fling, which, you know, is pretty standard. Everything else just feels like you only have one thing you can do that, and that is, you know, like the suplex, like the, you know, I like all the grabs. It's just no variation. So because of that, I feel like she is extremely stale. I mean, I hate to say it that way because she just doesn't have the mobility, the AoE coverage, and just the variation in her skills enough to warrant the grabbing thing. And that's another thing. Because you focus a lot on grabs, if I wasn't doing scenarios, this would be a lot more easy to explain, but the grabs don't do terribly high damage. Generally, you know, at least in scenario, I'm using fling to kill. I can actually kill people by throwing enemies into people. That normally wouldn't happen. So my range of, so what, you know, would normally take a couple of skills in regular dungeon is only taking me one skill here, which is nice, but it's not indicative of how the class would work in a normal dungeon, you know. I might use something like this and it won't actually kill everybody on the screen like that, so it might take a couple grabs, where that kind of problem was addressed a little bit on the male grappler by adding the new breakdown skill, because it gave you another skill to use, you know, really low cooldown skill to use while you were waiting for the cooldown on the higher level grabs. And if you're focused on grabs and you got to use everything on your grabs, well, there's going to be a lot of times where you don't have the animation time to just try to, you know, use air clutch all the time, or, you know, it's like you have this long animation you can't cancel and stuff like that. You got a lot of stuff that is just, you don't always want to use that. You want to use a better skill, like grouping skill. You want to just, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. You want a more versatile skill. That's what I'm saying. And this class just doesn't have it. In fact, I don't even use all the skills that I have here, and they're pretty much maxed anyway. So there's a lot I just don't feel like this class has. Now, the one thing I will mention is that I know that KDNF got like a comprehensive change to the female grappler, and I feel like that was totally necessary. So I'm making this video fully knowing that this class will probably get adjusted a little bit by the time I play her again, or show her off again. I am going to keep playing her, I'm going to keep leveling, but I'll tell you what, I'm not kidding when I say this is probably one of my, like, if not the least fun character I have played on this account. I'm not even kidding. Like, I have 4 characters I'm leveling now, and this one is the last one I wanted to level. I leveled my Avenger, I leveled my fucking Spitfire, I leveled all those guys before I even wanted to get on this character, because I'm just not looking forward to this. Slow, no versatility, low AoE, you know, high cooldown. I mean, I'm trying my damnedest to try to bring those guys over there. How come they couldn't give me a little bit more X-axis so I can abuse that a little bit better? Or, you know, same thing with the spiral. They should give me a little bit more coverage while I'm in the air so I can move a little bit more and get a better coverage of AoE. You know, that sort of thing on the male grappler, seriously, is no problem. And maybe it's, I don't have Second Awakening, and maybe I can get some Second Awakening skills that can do that. But again, generally Second Awakening skills are high level, very high cooldown skills. So maybe I get a really high cooldown skill. I need a core skill that works just like Breakdown and has the versatility of Breakdown, high damage, low cooldown, you know, sets up for other stuff like Air Steiner, stuff like that. You want that kind of stuff, you want that kind of AoE, and this class doesn't have that now. So hopefully, you know, later on, like I said, when we get those patches, and I'm going to have to read up on those because there were huge, tons of patches for female grap, that she'll get a little bit changes, because right now I'm not enjoying playing her, and that's compounded on the fact that I don't like grappling classes as it is. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully I was able to explain a little bit as to why this is one of the last characters I've leveled. And if you're playing a female grappler, give me some tips. I mean, maybe am I right about some of these things? Are you expecting them? Or more than likely, I'm wrong, and you guys will correct me. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you nights later.